Hello, welcome to another video of Vintage TV and Radio Stuff. Today we're diving into the world of microcassettes and the recording devices that were built for them back in the late 60s, 70s into the 80s. This is the device that a busy business person might carry with him or her, and when a great idea comes up, they pop it out and hit record and play and record their amazing ideas. Or maybe they dictate a letter to their secretary using this micro cassette recorder, or what have you. It was designed basically to just record voice. I don't think the device is recorded in stereo, for example, so it wasn't really designed for listening to music or something like that. It was more for voice recording. Two models here. The RN104 is on the left and the RN107 on the right. The RN104 has the voice activated system, which means you could put it on like a pause system, and as soon as it hears something, it would begin recording. That might come in handy, for example, if you're recording an interview with somebody. That reminds me too, I'm sure reporters used this a lot to record interviews or comments from people. Nowadays we have digital devices that do exactly the same thing, but back in the day this is how it worked. So let's take a look at the one on the left first of all, then we'll take a look at the other one. We have some micro cassettes too, and we'll listen to whatever happens to be on those cassettes too. First off, this is the RN104 with the voice activated system, speaker on the bottom, the cassette mechanism here. This is the eject button on the side. Plays right here as well. Fast forward and rewind. You can rewind and fast forward while in play mode, and you can hear what's being played, of course. The microphone is right here. On top, you have a headphone jack and the volume control. And here on the side, there's a toggle switch, that gray one, that allows you to put it into the voice activated system. You flip it down to VAS, and then you can put the recorder in play and record, and then when you talk, it records, and when you stop talking, it stops, which is kind of cool. Otherwise, when it's in the off position, it just records, until you turn it off. Pause, that little toggle switch, I guess, controls turning the record onto pause, and it stops recording, but it stays in record mode. I guess that's what you could do with that. Tape speed, 2.4 and 1.2 centimeters per second. And then you've got your 3-volt DC input. So let's flip it down to the voice-activated system and see how that works. And I'm going to hit play and record. And you really have to lean into this and talk. So I'm going to talk. Then I'm going to talk some more into this machine, and I think the reels are moving now, I think. But when I stop talking, they stop moving. But I'm going to talk some more now. All right, let's turn this off and hit the rewind and play it back and see what we got here.
And you really have to lean into this and talk, so I'm going to talk. I'm going to talk some more into this machine, and I think the reels are moving now, I think. But when I stop talking, they stop moving. But I'm going to talk some more now.
So there you are. That's how that kind of works. It's kind of interesting, actually. So if you're composing a letter, for example, to your secretary, and you lose your train of thought, you stop talking, and you think about it for a second, it won't have that big gap of your thinking on the tape. So that's kind of cool. So that's how this kind of works. That's the voice-activated system. Otherwise, it has the same features as this one right here. And this happens to be the RN107. And we'll just do a little bit of that. As you can see, This one has the mechanisms on the right side. This one has it on the left side. Looks like this might be a slightly smaller speaker than this one. So this is obviously the deluxe model. This was the one that those who didn't have a lot of money could afford. Same concept. You've got the eject button right here to eject the tape, the play and play record, your fast forward and your fast rewind, tape speed, and then the DC adapter thing here too, and here a headphone jack, and the volume control and the microphone. I think I forgot to mention the microphone on the other one. For that one, it's right there. Okay, so let me, I'll stick with this one, I guess. I happened to bump into a rummage sale where they had a bunch of these little microcassettes for sale, and I'm going to pop some in and play them back and see if we can hear something. But first, let's just see if this one actually does record too. I'm going to hit the record and play here and talk into it. Take a letter, Maria. Address it to my wife. And I don't remember the rest of those lyrics. But anyway, now I'm going to rewind this and see what we got.
Record and play here. And talk into it. Take a letter, Maria. Address it to my wife.
Yeah, works good. Yeah, it looks like a good sensitive microphone in there too. And yeah, so there you go. But let's go ahead and pop a different cassette into this one right here. By the way, microcassettes were developed back in the late 60s by Olympus, back in 1969, in fact. The mini cassette was its main competitor. That was created back in the late 60s by Philips. Different kind of concept. The mini cassette was more driven by the actual reels and not a pinch roller capstan type system. And they didn't seem to work as well because of the wow and flutter issue. But like I said before, this is mostly for recording voice, so whatever. Didn't really make much difference. So this is one I got at a rummage sale. Let's see if there's anything on this.
There's classes here for November. I know you need to have the manager's message first, but I'm going to put the other thing.
I'm going to actually rewind this a little bit. And I'm going to pop this in the other one. I think the other one has a little more little oomph as far as the volume is concerned. So let's try this.
Okay, here, this is going to be for the janitor's class
there you go.
For November. I know you need to have the manager's message first, but I'm going to put the other things on this tape first, and then the end of the tape will be the manager's message. So you can go fast forward to that thing if you want to, and then do it, and then come back to the beginning of this tape and start with that. This one here will be the sales report. This is for November 92.
Uh-oh. You must have stopped recording at that point. But this goes back to November of 1992. So this was this particular tape was still used back in the 90s by this gentleman. And I don't think there's much of anything else on this, but I can do a little fast forwarding and see what happens. There we go. Now he's back.
This tape first, and then the end of the tape will be the manager's
Oh,
message.
no.
This one here will be the sales report. This is for November 92.
Well, never got around to that sales report, apparently. All right, so that's on one of the cassettes. Now let's try another one here. Let's just pop this one in. Let's see what we got. if anything. Wow. Well, this is interesting. Now, what would this be? What would you think? A fax thing? Is it a maybe a data cassette for, well, maybe like, you know, the old-fashioned computers that used magnetic tape to remember things and to store data? I don't know. It probably is. Looks like a lot of that on there. Oh. Yeah. It's got a good beat, but I can't dance to it. All right, well, that's enough of that. All right, well, anyway, you never know what you're going to find on these cassettes, if anything. So that's about it. Like I said, these were big in the, well, 60s, maybe 70s, 80s, into the 90s, obviously, for that one guy. And, yeah, it's the crazy world of microcassettes. If you have any comments, leave them below. Like the video and subscribe to the channel, and we'll have more vintage radio and TV stuff down the road. Thanks for watching.